All right, guys. You know the Fast and Furious quotes, ride or die. Most of the other ones are pretty famous. But I want to talk about this Fast and Furious quote and in life. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning, or a second in my eyes. But I don't personally think so. Okay, yes, it's a great line for Dom to say and stuff. Winning is winning. However, it doesn't matter if it's by a mile or an inch or an inch or a mile. I do agree with that, but it depends on the racing philosophy. What I mean by that is it depends on what type of racing. If it's skiing, you're not racing against your opponent, you're racing against their time, meaning that I beat you by 10th of a second, which is outrageous. If I run a mile and I run an um, 8 minute mile or something, and you run a mile of 7.9 and stuff, you beat me by a second. Like, that's insane to think about and stuff. And it really depends on, you know, what type of racing. If it's NASCAR and Formula One has like determining how far ahead someone is. Oh, they're a second ahead. Okay, well, I can still catch them and win first place. Fine. But if it's NASCAR, horse racing, any of those types of races, motocross, regular motorcycle racing, um, you know, the podium spots of first, second, and third, then yeah, I'm going to say winning is winning. It doesn't matter if it's by a mile or an inch or a second and stuff in those regards. If it's, track and field racing, 55-meter dash, 100-meter dash, then yeah, I don't think it matters. However, if it's cross country or something about that, it's more minutes and everything than passing people. Then there's also, when you look at it in sailboat racing, speedboat racing maybe first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and so forth. But when you look into regular sailboat racing, there's a handicap rule where you have to give time up to someone else. So you may not win first place that race because you crossed the line faster than another boat, which means that since you're faster, you have to give time up to someone else and stuff. When it's all tallied and done, you could still get first place. But that's my point. It depends on what type of winning. But as Dom says, ask any real racer and stuff, and you'll know winning's winning. So it depends on what type of racing and stuff. It really does. For me, I've done go-karts and stuff. I know that in that, it doesn't matter. I crossed the finish line before, and one of my friends, I won, and it was it was this close. I sprung up ahead of him. But point is that it sometimes does matter. It's your interpretation of the quote. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on it, guys. That's all I have for that one.